Alright, this is the last episode of ET01. This is a wrap up. Yoo-hoo! Okay, so I have a couple images here and I have more than I need to really turn in, but I'm just going to go over a few more images and show you what we can do to enhance an image. So let's say you shot this image like so. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in the development module. What I'm going to do is start out at the basic panel here. And if I look on the basic panel, the white balance looks pretty good. A couple things here. I'm going to probably come in and increase the contrast first like I normally do in my fashion. I'm going to pull up the exposure a little bit, make this image a little bit brighter. And in this case, I'm going to pull out the highlight details for all the way to make sure I still get the blue sky in the arch there. But what I'm also going to do is, because inside arch here is really dark and you can only see somewhat of a detail, I'm going to push the shadow up to get more of a detail here. And if you can kind of see, as I explained in class, when you really deal with highlights and shadows, it's really one of those juxtaposition thing where you pull one down, you almost want to pull the other one up to kind of balance it out. Otherwise, it doesn't look quite as good. And as I also said in class as well, there's really no clean-cut way to deal with the blacks and the white. It just depends on what you need. In this case, I think we can justify pulling the white up a little bit. And I'm going to show you that before. This is what it was before. Notice how it's much flatter in this area, the tones. Once I kind of pull the white up a little bit, it makes the image punchier. It makes it look better. Let me also play around with the blacks as well. I probably don't want a flatter darker detail inside here, so in this case I'm going to pull the black down a little bit, make it a little bit punchier, just like that. So the image, if you want to see the before and after, you can also use the YY right here. You can see the before and after really clearly. Or what you can also do is, instead of using the toolbar here, you can also press the backslash key on your keyboard as well. If you're on a Macintosh, is the one above the enter key, so I'm going to click. This is before and after. I like to think that we did a pretty decent job adjusting this if we can pull out that much detail in an image. Okay, let's jump into another image here. I'm going to actually show you this image, and we worked on this image before to kind of show you an example. Let me kind of just set the brightness where I need to be, the contrast where I want it, and in this case I'm going to pull back the highlights. I'm going to fill in some of the shadow areas a little bit, the one down here, make sure it's a little bit brighter. What I'm going to do right now is change the white point, make it a little bit punchier, and also change the black point as well to optimize the tone in our image. Now, if you can kind of see here what I've done, the before and after, this is, oops, what I've done here is kind of enhance our image this way. Now, what I can also do is, this is kind of what it looked like before. This is the after. I've done a pretty successful job here. What I'm going to do is one more thing. I'm going to pull the vibrancy up a little bit for this image. I want the sky to come out a little bit more and the colors to punch up a little bit. So this is the before, this is at before. This is the after. This is the before. And this is the after. Alright, two more images I'm going to work on right here. One of them is just going to be this one. Again, shot out airplane seat. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to change the contrast in this image. Pull back the highlight all the way and probably darken this one a little bit as well to gain some more detail. It's still fairly flat. I'm going to see if I can actually bring down the blacks all the way. Wow, now we're increasing a lot of blue in there, so let's color correct for the texture of the terrain a little bit. Adding a little orange. Filling in some of the shadow areas. Perfect, just like that. I'm going to pull this up a little bit more. And setting the white point just about there. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use tonal curve as well and really kind of further enhance my image. And again, I'm already in point curve. However, if you're not, if you see these sliders, click on point curve. I'm going to change the end point here of the picture, making it even more punchier that I couldn't even do otherwise. And add a few more tones in this image like so. Now I'm actually getting a pretty decent looking image. A little bit contrasty, so I'm going to pull the contrast down just a touch there. And I'm going to warm up the color a little bit too, just to kind of get rid of that cyan a little bit more. And change the tone. Oops, too much there. I think that's about right. So this is what it was. Hopefully this is what it was before. Yep, this is what we've got the image to. And one last image here. I'm going to show you an image of this double-decker bus in London. I'm going to go ahead and set the contrast first. Bring the midtones up. again. So if you can kind of see the adjustment I'm making for these few images, I'm doing it almost the same way. Play with the contrast, go to exposure, pull the highlights black, make sure I have all these highlight detail in here. Push the shadow up because I want to see what's in front as well. You know, clearly detailing the shadows there. Change the white point just to make the image punchier. And it doesn't change that much, but it just makes that image and makes the tone a little more optimized. And you have the option to change the white or the black as well. By the way, in this case, this image, you could have actually pulled the white up, or if you pull the white down, you just gain a little bit more detail, but it makes it more muddy as well. Okay, most of the time, the white is probably better pull up than down, but in really some cases where you overexpose the sky or something like that, it's probably best to bring the white down to bring a little bit more detail back. Okay, I'm gonna actually show you a quick before and after this image here. Oops. Okay, so this is what it was like before. This is what it is after. So before and after. Alright, so this is enhancement theory 1. You only have to do it on 3 images, and again, your images doesn't have to be drastically bad or anything, but I just want you to go around and play around the tonal curve a little bit, play around the basic, understand what the basic adjustment does and how to get a better image out of the tools that we have. Alright, thanks for watching.